quantity theory of money was initially developed by the classical economists in the 19th and early 20th centuries. The quantity theory of money is a theory of how the nominal value of aggregate income is determined. It also tells us how much money is held for a given amount of aggregate income. So actually, it is a theory of the demand for money. The key feature of this theory is that it suggests that interest rates have no effect on the demand for money. It means that the interest rate doesn't play any significant role in the determination of the demand for money. Velocity of money. This is a very important concept in the quantity theory of money. The clearest exposition of the classical quantity theory approach is found in the work of the American economist Irving Fisher. Fisher was the American economist and he introduced this concept. He has written his book in the year 1911, which title was The Purchasing Power of Money. So in his book, he introduced this concept. Fisher examined the link or the relationship between the total quantity of money and the total amount of spending on final goods and services produced in the economy. If we increase the quantity of money supply, or if we decrease the quantity of money supply, how will it affect the total amount of spending on final goods and services? Actually, total spending, which is the product of the price level and the aggregate output. P represents the price level and Y represents the aggregate output or the aggregate income. So P multiply Y is known as total spending on goods and services. So we can also call it nominal GDP. So we can also say that Fisher examined the relationship between the money supply and the nominal GDP. So the concept that provides the link between money supply and nominal GDP is known as velocity of money, which is denoted by V in macroeconomics. Now the question is, what do we mean by the concept of velocity? Actually, velocity indicates the rate of turnover of money. It means that the average number of times per year that a dollar is spent in buying the total amount of goods and services produced in the economy. Or we can also say that it is the ratio of total spending and the quantity of money. When we divide the total spending or the national income by the amount of money supply M, we can get the term velocity. So V is equal to Py divided by M. Suppose for an economy, if its nominal GDP for a given year is $5 trillion and the quantity of money is $1 trillion. So how we can get the numerical value for the velocity? We can write the expression as V is equal to P multiply Y divided by M. So $5 trillion divided by $1 trillion. We can get the numerical value for velocity as 5. This 5 is known as velocity. Actually, this value represents the average dollar bill is spent 5 times in purchasing final goods and services in the economy. Equation of exchange. The equation of exchange relates nominal income to the quantity of money and velocity. We can write it as M multiply V is equal to P multiply Y, or we can simply write as MV is equal to PY. M represents the money supply, V represents the velocity of money, P represents the price level, and Y represents total output. So the equation of exchange relates nominal income to the quantity of money and velocity. The equation of exchange states that the quantity of money multiplied by the number of times that this money is spent in a given year must be equal to the nominal income. Look at this equation. On the left hand side, we have money supply and velocity of money. And on the right hand side of this equation, we have the price level and output. So P multiply Y represents the nominal income or the nominal GDP or the total income of the economy. And M represents the money supply and V represents the velocity of money. So the equation of exchange states that the quantity of money, which is M, multiplied by the number of times that this money is spent in a given year, which is V, must be equal to the nominal income. So the equation of exchange is nothing more than an identity. It means that it is a relationship that is true by definition. However, it doesn't tell us that when the money supply changes, nominal income changes in the same direction. Actually, this is the equation of exchange, but this equation doesn't tell us that when there is a change in the money supply, how it will change the nominal income. For example, if there is an increase in money supply, could be offset by a fall in velocity that leaves M multiply V unchanged if M increases in this equation. So this increase could be offset by a fall in V. It means there will be no change. The identity will remain identity. Look at this equation. If M increases and V decreases, so finally M multiply V will be unchanged. If M multiply V will not change, it means P multiply Y will also not change. It will remain constant. So we need to convert this equation of exchange into a theory that how nominal income is determined requires an understanding of the factors that determine velocity. It means that what are the factors that determine velocity? Then we can easily find out the relationship between those particular variables. Fisher reasoned that velocity is determined by the institutions in an economy that affect the way individuals conduct transactions. For example, suppose if you have a credit card and you are going to a bank to get a service. So if you have a credit card, it means that you will spend money very less in quantity because you will produce your credit card to the bank or to a shopkeeper and they pay the money from their cards. It means that the customers have less money in hands. They are paying money through the ATM card. It means that if people use charge accounts or credit cards to conduct their transactions and consequently use money less often when making purchases, less money is required to conduct the transactions generated by nominal income. So it means less money is required, less money is needed to carry out the particular transaction. So it means the amount of money people have will be less. So if M is lower relative to Py and velocity will increase. Why? Look at this expression. P multiply Y divided by M. If M decreases, how it will affect the value of P and Y? This value will increase because V is equal to Py divided by M. If M decreases, it means Y increases. So if people have less amount of money in their hands, it means that velocity will increase. So we can say that there is a negative relationship between the money supply and the velocity of money. Suppose if you want to purchase something from the market and you have money in hands and you don't have suppose the ATM card, the case will be reverse. The result will be, the impact will be different. If it is more convenient for purchases to be paid for with cash or checks, more money is used to conduct the transactions generated by the same level of nominal income. So in this case, velocity will fall. So we can write as V is equal to Py divided by M. If M increases, V will decrease. That's why we can say that the velocity will fall. Fisher took the view that the institutional and technological features of the economy would affect velocity only slowly over time. So velocity would normally be reasonably constant in the short run.